For quite some time now, Huawei's sub-brand in Honor has been making some really fantastic budget-friendly smartphones, but for their next outing, they're entering a new territory. Hey guys, it's John B here with PhoneArena, and this is our review of the Honor View 10. It might look like the Honor 7X from last fall, but it doesn't have the same price point. It's nearly double that, but it's still cheaper than the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. For this review, I'm going to change it up just a little bit because I'm going to talk about some of the main things that really stood out for me using the Honor View 10. First thing here is the performance out of its chipset. What's really amazing here is that it leverages the same processor that's found in the Mate 10 Pro. So that's the Huawei Kirin 970 processor, and I gotta say, it is really fast. Obviously, a lot faster than the Honor 7X, and it's really on par to the performance I see out of the Mate 10 Pro. So as far as some of the usual basic stuff, navigating around the interface, it's pretty smooth and responsive. I wouldn't go out to say it's the snappiest thing out there. I wouldn't say it's on the same level as a Pixel 2 XL or an iPhone 10, but it's still really good. And it comes paired with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, which is more than generous. Next up, I'm really happy to find that there's an IR blaster and a headphone jack with the Honor View 10. Those are just two features you don't see nowadays, especially the IR blaster, so you can control things like your television if you wanted to. The design though is kind of similar to the Honor 7X, and for me, it's a little bit on the underwhelming side. I kind of expected just a little bit more out of design, but it's pretty much similar to that. The fingerprint sensor is below the display instead of the back that we see on most phones. And the last thing here is that there's no water resistance construction like you find with the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. Overall, I wish the design was tweaked just a little bit just because there's not a whole lot different between this and the Honor 7X. What's really interesting here is the specs with the display between the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, the Honor 7X, and this one, the View 10. Here in the View 10, it's a 6-inch 1080x2160 full view display with that trendy 18:9 screen aspect ratio. Now, when I compare this to the 7X, it really impresses me that there are so many more great qualities about the View 10's display. It offers better clarity, it's more vibrant and brighter. Yes, the details are the same, but all the other aspects are so much better with the View 10. And when you compare it with the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, it's not quite as attractive to the eye, but it's very close. And the last thing here is the dual cameras on the back of the phone. Similar setup to what we find in the other devices. I would say it's better in its performance against the Honor 7X, not quite as polished as the Mate 10 Pro. And because it has a dual camera system, basically it's going to deliver those really cool bokeh effects with the rear camera. It does a pretty good job in my experience, but when you use the front-facing camera to achieve pretty much the same results, I do tend to notice that it's a little bit aggressive around the edges, so it kind of misses the mark sometimes. But besides that, the camera itself performs pretty nicely when it comes to still shots and also video, just as long as the conditions are ideal. And just like the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, it uses artificial intelligence to detect what you're shooting. To me, this is still kind of gimmicky because yes, it will enhance photos depending on what it is, but to me, ultimately, I wouldn't really use the term artificial intelligence in this case. However, what I really enjoyed that's different from other cameras is the artist mode that you find with the camera app. Now, this is really neat because it applies some cool looking effects when taking photos. It almost has an animated look. It's not static like a normal filter because you do see some dynamic animations as you're moving around and taking the photo. As far as the other aspects of the phone, I'm just going to quickly go through them right now. The first one being the interface. It is running the same Huawei Emotion UI 8.0 experience on top of Android 8.0. No difference between this and what you find in the Mate 10 Pro. I do find the AS stuff just a little bit gimmicky, but it is what it is. Battery life to me is pretty average. There's a 3750 mAh battery cell that's right there in between the Honor 7X and the Mate 10 Pro. On most days, by the end of the day, I have 30% left, and it does take 129 minutes to recharge, which is kind of long nowadays. Call quality to me is pretty good through the earpiece and also on the other end of the line. Voices tend to have a sharp tone. You could say it's kind of over sharpened, but still really clear. And when you switch to speakerphone, I'm happy to say that there's no distortion whatsoever with it. Like I said at the start of this video, the View 10 is stepping into new territory because of its price point. It's $500, and for an Honor device, that is on the pricier side. It's more than double than the Honor 7X, which starts at $200, but it's still cheaper than the Huawei Mate 10 Pro at $800. Some people will probably scratch their head wondering why would they come out with a phone that sits in between these two devices, but for me, I think it makes a lot of sense. For starters, it offers more choices for consumers, which is always a good thing. And two, you're now looking at a difference of $300 between all three devices. It's no longer a $600 difference between the Honor 7X on one end and the Huawei Mate 10 Pro on the other at $800. Ultimately, you're not forced on having to settle on either of those two devices on opposite ends of the spectrum, because now you can get the best of both worlds with the View 10 at $500. And that is it for our review, guys. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. If you want to learn more about the Honor View 10, you can check out our website, PhoneArena.com. This is John B, signing off.